Ronnie Pickering.
Who?
Ronnie Pickering.
Who?
Ronnie Pickering.
Who the fuck's that?
Yeah, me.
Hello and welcome to Culture Vultures. I'm Dean, your cheeky little vulture with the winning smile. And as always, I'm joined by my hetero life mate, little Kev there. How's it hanging, Kev-a-rooney?
It's hanging absolutely fan-dabby-dozy. Thank you very much, sweetheart. How's things with you, Treacle?
Yeah, we're good. It's a very cold February day that we've had today.
I don't know about very cold. It's fucking freezing out there, mate. It's like the day after tomorrow.
Well, yeah, I was just going to say, I've only just managed to thaw out my testicles. I think you could have grated cheese on my scrotum earlier.
Ooh, a bit of parmesan.
Now, what shall we talk about?
The Oliver Stone movie, Natural Born Killers, from 1994. A controversial film, would you say, Kev?
Oh, I'd say, yeah, quite a controversial film indeed, son, yeah.
Yes, quite a lot of problems with the film being released, especially in the UK. It kept being put back for various reasons. The film is based on a story by Quentin Tarantino. He sold it to Oliver Stone, I think, for $10,000 because he was able to undergo the project himself. The story is of Mickey and Mallory, who are two young lovers, a bit like Bonnie and Clyde, who come from abusive childhood. They decide that they kill Mallory's parents and then go on a killing spree across America in a sort of drive along murder as you go sort of way. And then they get caught and they end up in prison. But on this journey, they become extremely popular and constantly in the media and sort of hailed as almost heroes. And that's kind of what it's like. I'd say it's a black comedy and a satire on how the media actually reacts and sort of broadcasts on this sort of thing. I say this is from 1994, so it is from a while ago. But I think Oliver Stone and Tarantino got it spot on because it's almost where we are now with crime channels and the way the news is basically used as entertainment and to make profit.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there, mate. It's interesting, isn't it? I mean, before even sort of social media came into being and blew up, you got these two horrific characters who are made celebrities on their brutal road trip across America, slaying all of these innocent people and doing all these nasty things.
Yeah.
As a result of being conditioned from their childhood of being abused and stuff like that. But they are, like you say, they're referred to as almost like the good guys and the heroes in the eyes of some people because of the way they're being portrayed by the media, the way they're being sold to the masses. And it's very interesting to see these two characters kind of come out of nowhere and almost overnight they're like the two biggest figures in America.
Jesus, Harold Christ on a fucking rubber clutch. Is this happening to me?
For me personally, I remember when this came out. It's one of my favourite films, and I went to see the film 4 times at the cinema. Even at the time, I think it was 17 or 18. 17 I was. People even were saying to me like, well, why do you want to keep watching that? Are you some sort of psycho? And it's like, well, no. And I just really liked the film, the way that Oliver Stone's done the film. And also I think you can relate to the two main characters, Mickey and Mallory. But I really enjoyed the story. And I think for then, when it came out, it was the first kind of controversial type film that I had seen like that. At that time, we didn't have any celebrities or reality stars, but what they had been doing was broadcasting the O.J. Simpson trial had been broadcast, and you had the whole Rodney King thing with the filming of the police, obviously beating him, then that going to court, and then obviously the LA riots, which was all caught and broadcast.
So basically, what I was thinking of was, oh fuck, I can't believe you've done this.
There are some horrific scenes and horrific things that they do, but the characters are so well developed and written. When they do something even like mildly amusing, it's I find it hysterical. Some of the characters you got in there, like my favourite one being Wayne Gale or Robert Downey Jr. It's just you couldn't imagine. It was like another Jack Sparrow. You couldn't imagine anyone else playing that part, and he was obviously given a lot of freedom with that because he turns up, doesn't he? And he's an Australian news reporter. Why he's Australian, I don't know. But he nails the accent. He's got this big old Martin Riggs mullet going on for a little bit, innit, before he chops it off and he looks a bit more like George Michael. But the characters are all really good, and I agree with you. It is a black comedy. It is a satire. It's dramatic. It's action packed. It's funny, it's romantic. I think it really encapsulates so many genres and themes to a movie. And it's really well made. I mean, Oliver Stone is a fantastic director and has made some brilliant films. I mean, Platoon always comes to mind. But it's such a roller coaster of a movie. And even the way he films it, the stylistic aspects of it, how he blends in anime, how he uses a lot of Dutch camera angles. I mean, he flicks between colour and black and white, monochrome, and an even sort of early digital video. It's a real sort of masterpiece of filmmaking.
Yeah, because when I know on set, the camera guy, they just were able to pick up whichever camera they felt they needed to use, 8mm, 16mm, home video camcorder, you know what I mean? And it's an amazing piece of work. It's an amazing film. I think it got pretty shit canned at the time by the critics. And I personally do think that is because it was having a big pop at the media. And I think they didn't like it.
I think there's that, but I think also what's interesting is the same year it came out was the same year Tarantino released Pulp Fiction. He obviously had success with Reservoir Dogs before it, but Pulp Fiction was really the one that put him in the mainstream. And you can watch in Natural Born Killers, you can tell that it's written by him. It's got his style all over it. Yeah. And these two films are coming out at the same sort of time. This was the year in which Tarantino would leap forth into like celebrity sort of director stardom, bring in his formula to the cinematic world, and I think that's what Natural Born Killers really sort of encapsulates there.
Oh yes, do I still want you to take them to be valued by the Duke of Buckley, my lord? Oh yes. No, I don't, because we just heard that the Duke of Buckley is dead. Yes, got his head knocked off by a golf ball. Tragic.
The chemistry, I mean, it's Woody Harrelson and Juliette Lewis, and the chemistry between them both is just spot on, and you really believe that they are, do anything for each other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
which I liked as well.
Well, that's what,
and I think.
I was going to say that's what makes it romantic, though, isn't it? They're a very romantic couple in their own sort of crazy way.
Yeah,
you can't argue the fact that these two characters are absolutely in it to the end and are head over heels in love with each other, and will go like to the end for one another. I think that's really special.
Yeah, but I think as well as it's also very tongue in cheek like that, because she does really love him, obviously, and he really loves her. But when he first gets arrested and put in prison, it cuts to her on a visit, right? And there's all that pyramids across the Nile music going. And she's wanking him off. Oh, so romantic. Wanking him off in prison on a visit.
Oh, babe. Oh, wash yourself up quick, babe. Star Trek's on.
But she's like crying because she wants him to come out of prison, but she's fucking one off the wrist. And that guy looks at him. Can I help you? Yeah, brilliant. It's just those little nods, the tongue-in-cheek thing. I think from as soon as the film opens, which is the cafe scene, when you first see them, Mickey Knox is at the counter talking to the waitress, and then those the rednecks turn up, all Larry.
Yeah, but it's the way the guy sort of rocks in onto the dance floor, doesn't he? She's there sort of dancing in a really hippie way, and
dancing.
he comes in like line dancing, don't he? He's all rigid.
Yeah, he's got the shit mustache and everything, giving it the big one, thinks he's all that. And then perfectly, the jukebox changes, doesn't it? And it goes into L7's shit list.
Yeah.
And she just fucking cracks him one, and then just chaos ensues, doesn't it? Because she just starts beating the shit out of him.
Just does him over, doesn't she?
Yeah. And then his mate, who's sitting next to Mickey at the thing, he gets up to start trying to sort things out, and he goes, whoa, 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 sort of thing, doesn't he? And he points at him and says, fuck you. And he lobs his finger off with a fucking great big fucking knife. It's a fucking Bowie knife or something. It's very stylized violence. Obviously, what's happening is horrific, but where it's so stylized, it's kind of like it's comic book. It's you know what I mean. It's cartoon like, because he obviously slits his throat, which you don't particularly see. You just see him swing the blade, and then he drops down, the guy. But then he sees the bloke outside who's got the the truck's hood up, and it's all smoke coming out of it, and he mouths the word "fuck," right, and starts walking away, and he lobs this giant fucking knife, and it goes through the window and then into his back, doesn't it?
That's what, yeah, and it's a very Tarantino shot as well, because it's a point of view shot from the spinning knife, isn't it? The bit I find really funny, and it's just like one of those little moments that I like is is when Mickey and Mallory's embrace. After they've had all of that massive fight and that, they sort of turn to that big fat bearded guy, and it's just like his little face is like, it's just a reaction.
Himself, isn't he just doesn't know what's happened, does he?
No idea. They have to leave. They leave someone, don't they? They always leave one person to tell the story.
Yeah, to tell the tale.
Yeah, wait a minute, Mikey. But if he killed all his men, how did the map or the story get out?
See, I asked my dad the same question. He said one of the guys must have gotten out with the map and...
Hey, Mike, I believe you.
When it kind of goes back to when they first met, and it's in Mallory's home. But what they do is they do it like old American sitcom. And I think it comes up on the screen, I Love Mallory. Like I Love Lucy sort of thing. But she's obviously supposed to be young, got braces on and all that. But they've got, her dad is played by Rodney Dangerfield, who is quite a famous stand-up comedian.
And he's brilliant in this role, isn't he?
He's awesome, because he's so fucking horrible, but also what he's saying is funny. You know what I mean? It's just really. I know that when I looked up about this, that he didn't have a script. Oliver Stone didn't give him a script. He just said, "You can just do what you want, improvise. This is what I do." So that's all what he's come up with, because obviously that's what he's good at.
Hey, kid, I'm Al Chervik. I'm playing with Drew Scott today. This is my guest, Mr. Wang. No offense.
But you got him, and then you've got, I can't remember what her name is, but she's in Ferris Bueller, and she's the one behind the desk in Trains, Planes and Automobiles when Steve Martin sort of like lets off all those F-bombs at her.
Isn't she in Elvira as well?
Yes, I think she is. I haven't seen.
Isn't she like the townswoman, like the lead townswoman who's against Elvira?
I think so. That is just too far away for me to remember that. She's normally does comedy parts, and then you've got the little brother who is dressed like a wrestler. What are they? Because it was like the tag team wrestlers.
Oh God, Legion of Doom or something like that, wasn't it?
Legion of Doom. That's it. Yeah.
That'll do.
Rodney Dangerfield is also watching wrestling as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
But obviously as well, because he is supposed to have been abusing Mallory, which comes across in it. But then when Mickey turns up, he turns up with some meat. He's just like a fucking butcher, isn't he? What's that? Got meat.
It's all
20
It's
pounds
just
of beef.
leaking outside.
It's just all falling on the carpet, yeah.
Kick Barry out, so I'm leaving. No, Barry. No, Barry has gone. I'll stay. We're trying to have a Teams meeting, you fool. We're trying to have a Teams meeting, you fool. We can't if you've got that.
But then obviously he speaks to her and then they fuck off in his car, don't they? Which is where he gets arrested and then the thing where she's wanking him off. But then when he escapes, they go back to the house. He goes back to the house to kind of rescue Mallory, but he just bursts in, doesn't he? And smacks Rodney Dangerfield round the head with a crowbar.
Yeah, because somehow he survives the first one and even the second one, don't he? Before they go and stick his head in the old fish tank and drowns him in that, don't he?
That's right. That whole scene has got cartoon effects in the background.
Yeah, it's like a Bugs Bunny sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, because when he hits him, you hear the birds tweet like in a cartoon.
Yeah, I suppose the only thing that's is kind of missing from it is the old '66 Batman sort of pow and wham, and so you can almost imagine that's going to come up. It's almost like that kind of sort of like a Tom and Jerry Batman '66 kind of fight scene, isn't it?
Yeah, it keeps you at arm's length of the horrendous amount of violence that's going on, and then as you say, they stick his head in the fish tank and basically drown him. But when he's finished, Woody Harrelson comes out with one of the best lines.
Where's the old bag?
Yeah, it's a bit much with the old lighter fluid.
Yeah.
And she ain't got a wig on, does she? The syrup's come off. Yeah. And then they've strapped her down. Yeah. She's got his whiskers just coming out of the top of her hair.
Yeah.
And that's it, doesn't he? He's just like squirts with a bit of lighter fluid, and old Mallory looks up and says, you did nothing.
Yeah.
And it is revenge, isn't it? And then they just burn her alive. And then the old brother comes out.
He goes for him, doesn't he?
Yeah, he goes for him, and she's like, "Don't worry about it, Kevin. No. You're free now. Free to do what though?" I was wondering, because I mean the house is about to burn down. His mum's dead.
Yeah.
His dad is basically laying with the fishes.
Swimming with the fishes.
Downstairs. What has he got to be free about?
You ain't fucking trying to wipe that fucking truck, you dickhead! Mitchell, I'm seriously gonna fucking vomit.
It smells like we're behind the garbage truck.
Then you get introduced to Wayne Gale, which is his TV show, innit? Was it American Maniacs?
That's it, yeah.
It's really over the top, isn't it? Sort of thing you get in lots of sort of crime TV shows. You've got lots of different serial killers and popping up in the beginning credits, and him looking all pensive and everything. And it says, starring Wayne Gale, directed by Wayne Gale, produced by Wayne Gale. And as you say, he's Australian.
Written by Wayne Gale.
Yeah. He's Australian, but I think that's because there's a link between sort of sordid tabloids and Australians. And I think that must be down to Rupert Murdoch. And when you see what he's doing, because the whole thing's, again, it's sensationalized. He's saying about how Mickey and Mallory have gone down and they've gone down this, and they do that reaction, reenactment. And it's the sort of thing you just think it's not necessary. But this is just for entertainment. The reenaction of it is showing a policeman getting shot, and obviously then they shoot the I'm so laughing, but it's like a world champion cyclist.
Yeah.
Takes a free shot and shoots him.
American bronze medalist marathon bicyclist.
I think it's probably his best role, his best performance, even more than Iron Man.
Well, you can see that he's absolutely loving this one. Not to say that he's not with old Tony Stark, but he's definitely
Yeah.
enjoying himself on this one. And it's even that intro bit when he's got his little rain mac on and he comes out from the church when you get your titles come up, and then you've got like the serial killers. When it gets to Richard Ramirez in black and white, like staring to camera left, it suddenly cuts to a black and white version of a Martin Riggs mullet-toting Wayne Gale staring the other way as if they're having some sort of face-off, and then he walks. It's almost like he walks towards Ramirez, and a police officer has to refrain him. Quickly cut to, but it sort of quickly cuts to breaking and entering, isn't it? You got all the cops by the door. They got their guns ready, and he comes out of nowhere. He comes out of nowhere, basically pushes two of them aside, kicks the door in, backs off, and then there's a series of a few other shots, and then it just ends with the one where they've got the he's with a detective, and there's obviously someone who's been murdered by the road, and he sort of like looks down as he's witnessing it, and then he looks up all pensive.
Oh yeah.
What an intro!
Yeah.
Oh.
But it goes in that when he boots the door in, and he's got his microphone, and that's his almost like using like his gun.
Yeah, he's got his little bulletproof vest on. Yeah, he's brilliant. And then he sort of does his little news report from the sort of the middle of the highway, don't he? Very much George Michael-esque. The little stubble, the big wavy like sort of hair pushed back with the mullet and the leather jacket.
It's so good.
Wayne Gale.
Jack Scagnetti, who's a
detective,
and he's a bellend as well, because he just constantly keeps going on about his book, but he really wants to catch them, doesn't he? He wants to be the person to catch and arrest them. There's that really weird scene where he's obviously with a lady of the night.
Yeah, not Elvira, but the other lady of the night.
Prostitute, basically.
Yeah, hooker.
Yeah, and he fucking kills her, doesn't he? He just strangles her.
Yeah,
and it's like that.
I've
just out of the blue.
I know it is, and he's like just laying there, in his pants, and
yeah,
and I don't, Mr. Pants. What a wonderful pair of pants. I don't think you actually know he's a cop until he actually turns around and says, "Oh, I'm a cop." You just think it's just some geezer just wearing a pair of like leather pants or something like that, and not like pants as in like the American way of saying trousers, but he is wearing like a pair of briefs,
underpants,
undergarments, yes, undercrackers, yes. After watching this again, and I've watched it like loads of times, but I watched it again, and I thought, my opinion was, I thought he was the worst character out of all of them, because with all of the characters, and we're still yet to get onto another brilliant character.
We're going to save him for a minute because he steals the show.
Yeah, we'll save him. But of all these characters, they are what they are. Scagnetti, he wants to be something, but yet he wants to be something else. He's kind of chasing both of them, and he's just a nasty bit of work. You know, he's a man of the law, but he'll break the law.
Yeah.
And not in the sense of trying to do a good thing. He just does it for his own self-gratitude. And then he's murdering prostitutes. He's beating on suspects and stuff. He's always babbling on about him and his fucking book, Scagnetti on Scagnetti.
And ever since then, I've had a strong opinion about the psychopathic fringe that thrives today in America's fast food culture. I tend not to exhibit the self-discipline, becoming of a peace officer.
You got it right, Jack. You got it right. So you don't mind, do you, if I call you Jack?
That's what sort of mirrors those characters, isn't it? That they're both chasing the fame. They're both after the ratings. It's just that Tom Sizemore's a bit more of a cunt than Robert Downey Jr. I mean, he is the cunt of the film, isn't he?
Do you think that those nitwits out there in Zombieland remember anything? It's junk food for the brains. It's, filler, fodder, whatever.
Scagnetti does catch him, doesn't he? I mean, basically, Mickey and Mallory have been bitten by rattlesnakes, and they need to go and get some, they call it snake bite juice because of the venom. But they go to that massive drugstore, and it is just called drugstore, which again is very comic book. It's a massive neon sign that just says drugstore, and that whole of that scene has a green tinge to it.
It's almost like the drugstore the Riddler visits.
Yeah.
It's really sort of like very sort of oversaturated green, isn't it? I mean, you couldn't get any more fucking comic book.
I think that's a green tinge that Oliver Stone's put on that because of how they're supposed to feel ill, aren't they?
Yeah.
So it's almost like that. But they actually go in there and there's like a massive aisle and it just says snakebite juice out of stock. Mickey goes up to the pharmacist and just starts asking him to give him the snakebite juice, which he hasn't got. And he says, all right, give me the stuff that they make it, what they make it with. But the guy has been watching Wayne Gale and can see that these are the two most wanted people in America at the moment. And of course, he shits it and presses the alarm button.
Bolognese. Looks more like bullshit.
Scagnetti has turned up with the police and he's got Mallory and he's after Mickey as well. But what I also think is funny is there's one TV crew there, which seems to be like an Asian TV crew. They're kind of reporting on this. It's all fucking hell is breaking loose. There's bullets flying, everything. And this little Asian reporter, she's getting right in there. And then it comes up with the subtitles. And it goes, Mickey is very volatile. And it's like, that's what they're getting at. It's just like preposterous of how far the media have come with. They just want to, they want to sensationalise.
From the entire Channel 4 news team, I'm Veronica Corningstone.
And I'm Ron Burgundy. Go fuck yourself, San Diego.
Absolutely beat the shit out of him. And they're also beating the shit out of Mallory before they even even before Mickey comes out, doesn't it? That's a police brutality going on.
They're beating the shit out of her.
Yeah, and you sort of really get that true sense of Scagnetti again. He's a man of the law, but he doesn't adhere to the law.
No. Well, he cuts her, doesn't he?
Well, he tries to cut a tit. Well, he says he's going to cut her tits off, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, that's when Mickey comes out.
But, I'm not fucking having that, boy, I'll tell you.
So after that, you're kind of like the second half of the film is basically in a prison, and I know they did film in a real prison, and I think the inmates there, they were paid like $49 a day to be extras. Mm-hmm. But kind of on the way through all of that, you're kind of seeing bits and clips and pieces of TV footage that has been done in it of all people from around the world sort of saying that they love Mickey and Mallory and it's amazing and da-da-da-da-da. And Wayne Gale on American Maniacs. But they also have the trial, which is obviously supposed to have been televised, like the OJ thing. You just see them filmed going into the court, but there's a whole scene that was cut by Oliver Stone, which is the courtroom scene. And I think he cut it because basically he said it kind of slowed the film down a little bit and it didn't follow on in a way that he wanted it to. Having seen that cut piece, I think it would have been really good. Have you've seen it, yeah?
I think it was a long time ago. I don't think it was actually the one I watched the other day though, but I've seen it. Is it? No, it was on the DVD or something, wasn't it? It was one of the extras.
That's right.
Yeah.
Basically, Mickey's gonna defend himself, and I can't remember what the woman's name is, the actress, but she's a witness in the stand, and they're talking about another sort of night raid where they've gone into someone's house and obviously killed everyone but her. But that whole scene leads up to basically Mickey kills her in the witness stand, which again is wouldn't ever happen. Because first of all, he starts waving that knife around, which is an Exhibit B or whatever, and they're saying, "Can you put that down?" But then he's just got a pencil, and he just fucking stabs her and stabs her and stabs her with it, and then snaps it off, and then obviously gets hauled away by the police that are in there. Again, I just thought that kind of, I don't know, that scene I think was worth being in it because it just shows the complete malice that he's got for everything, the law, whatever. He doesn't care. just doesn't give a fuck.
That's just a bit after he's stabbing her. This geezer comes running through, breaks through the little gates, and Mallory trips him over. But it's just his face.
You're in big trouble, though, pal. I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast.
You eat pieces of shit for breakfast? No.
There's two bodybuilders. They're twins, and they're sort of European. But they sound like Arnie, basically. And they're both being interviewed by Wayne Gale. And what's happened is that, again, Mickey and Mallory have broken into their house and they've used chainsaws to cut their legs off. So one of them's got both his legs gone and the other one's just got one. And basically what they say is halfway through it, they both realised that they were these two famous twin bodybuilders. So they stopped. He says they tried to help us by phoning an ambulance and everything. and like Cutters and Mickey's going, yeah, I've seen everything you've been in. You guys are awesome. And then they're both saying, we wanted to thank Mickey and Mallory for giving us something to fight for again, because we were the best, the top of our game. Now we've got something to actually fight for. And I thought, fuck me. That is just the sort of fucking celebrity horse shit that you would get, obviously on a massive extreme scale sort of satire type thing, but brilliant. Yeah, really good sing.
Weren't they the two bodybuilders who did that like really shit rip-off of Conan called Barbarians?
It might have been.
I think it's these guys. Yeah, and there's like a documentary on a famous probably the most famous streaming service going. And there's just like it documents bodybuilders, and they're in it. I'm sure it's them. And there's a scene where they're running down the road, but they can't really bend their knees. And that's just the way they're kind of waddling down the road. Yeah. I'm sure it's them.
You ever get the feeling that everything in America is completely fucked up?
That's when you meet Dwight McCluskey, played by Tommy Lee Jones, and he fucking steals it. I think his performance is fucking amazing, because you know, you always get the warden in those films and they're always up to no good or whatever. He's got the fucking slick hairstyle, and he's got the old duck's ass hairdo from the 50s.
Well, he looks like Ace Ventura, doesn't he? Before Ace Ventura, he's got exactly the same haircut.
That's it.
Almost a Salvador Dali tash.
Yeah. And the
sharp suit.
Yeah, but a cheap suit.
Yeah.
And he's got those medical scissors things that he uses to sort of reprimand inmates. Because someone
clamps them on the nose.
Jumps over, clamps them on the nose and ties it off.
Try this on, big boy.
Now come on up here.
Boy, come on up here. My God,
He's got Jack Scagnetti there because they want Mickey and Mallory moved to an insane asylum. What Dwight McCluskey's saying is that he wants Scagnetti to basically kill him on the way there, so they don't actually ever get there. Which obviously he's up for, because I think that's when he says he'd be like Lee Harvey bleeding Oswald, the bloke who killed him. Sorry.
Killed himself, did he?
Cut it. But yeah, so while he's there, Mickey is being spoken to by Wayne Gale, Robert Downey Jr., obviously. And he's sorting out an exclusive interview which will go out on Super Bowl Sunday just to get the ratings and everything. He's really wanting to get these ratings and get his profile up by getting this exclusive with him. So obviously Mickey agrees to do it. And I think it kind of goes on then, done it to the fact that he is going to interview him, and Woody Harrelson shaves his head bald for it, doesn't he?
Yeah, bald as a coat. He streamlines himself.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say, though. Up until that point, you'd only really known Woody Harrelson to be in Cheers.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like what else he was in.
He was in Indecent Proposal.
Ah, that was a good one. Yeah, with old Demi Moore and Robert Redford.
Again, that is a film that would never be made now.
No.
Because basically, Robert Redford just comes across as being a right fucking pervert. It's like, yeah, I tell you what, I really quite fancy your wife. She's fucking lovely. I'm rich. I tell you what, mate, I'll give you $1 million if you let me bone her.
Could I basically rent her for the night, and I'll sort you out, you know, with the old readies. You'd be thinking, fuck off, mate. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But no, he does come across as a bit of a shady old dirtbag, don't he?
I don't know though, $1 million.
Hello, Sexy. I was just thinking about you earlier on, and you can back up my mind. I was checking some of your photographs. The in the shower when your ass soapy and your big breasts are just lying there. I fell in love with your breasts. You look really, really nice with your breasts.
It's almost like the perfect location for the media to come into a prison, set up shop, and interview a mass murderer, isn't it?
That's right.
Because watching it, I was thinking, well, what else would you bloody well use it for? It just so happens to be perfect for what they're doing. But yeah, Mickey shaved his head. He's ready for the limelight. Wayne Gale. He's got the gloves are off. You know, he's ready to rumble. You know, he's ready to get down with it.
Yeah, because
this is his moment.
The only time that Mickey gets rattled is at the beginning when he starts asking about his dad, and he kind of lobs something across the room and says, "I didn't kill my father, and I don't want to talk about him." And Tommy Lee Jones just gets up ready with his fucking surgical scissors.
He's quick off the draw like Jesse James, isn't he?
Yeah.
I didn't kill my father, and I don't want.
Hey, watch it. It's all right. It's okay. It's okay.
It's all right, man. Go on to something else.
You know what I mean? Sympathising with them, saying what they already know. Basically, he's saying that he just says, "I guess I'm just a natural born killer," and with that, the fucking prison just erupts into chaos because the inmates in the rec room smash the TV and start just pure pandemonium. Of course, that gets through to Dwight McCluskey, and he says,
Mr. Gale, close them cameras down. We got a riot going on in the rec room in B-Wing.
We finished with life, for Christ's
You
sake.
sure as hell are finished. Hostages, explosives, close them cameras down.
So he fucks off, obviously, because he's got to sort this out, leaving Mickey in the room with the camera crew and the armed guards. But he gets up, doesn't he? And he starts walking around them in a circle, and he's telling a joke, basically, and they're all listening. And he kind of picks up that donut out of a box, and he's telling this joke, but he's sizing them all up just to see who's not paying attention the most and trying to get him out. And then, of course, with that, he throws the donut to someone to catch it, one of the armed guards to catch it, and then he just fucking breaks the other guard's nose, elbow. But that is perfect because it's right on the beat of Bomb Track, isn't it, by Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah, it breaks into two of them, doesn't it? You got and
yeah, the other one is Take the Power Back.
Check. We're gonna have to break it.
It's a list of prisoners. He goes, what the fuck do I want that for? I want a list of hostages. And the man goes, what the fuck am I supposed to get a list of hostages? I don't care. But then he's walking, there's all that stuff falling down from the old American jails where there's all bits and stuff. And then for some reason, he just gets a load of milk poured on his head and he's walking along and she's running down his face.
He doesn't even react, does he?
No.
Just accepts it.
It's just, yeah. And then he manages to get to his room where all the cameras are. And that guard comes down and goes, yes. Yes, what is it?
What is it, Nakabundi?
Yes, what is it, Natabundi? What? I don't care what your fucking name is.
So-and-so doors are jammed open. Well, jam them shut. Fires everywhere and stuff. And he's just obviously losing it.
Live on network TV.
But then, obviously, what they want to do, Mickey and Mallory, is get out of the prison and escape. So they get, they take Robert Downey Jr. with them, but then they kind of give him a gun, and he's just really fucking into it, like too into it. He starts firing off and goes, "Ah, you motherfuckers!"
It ties.
I fucking love
He ties his tie around his head, don't he? Like he's bloody John Rambo. He starts shooting at guards. I love it. For the first time, I feel fucking alive. Give me that gun, Wayne. Why?
Yeah, why? Why? And he gives him the camera, shoot with this.
He's generally disappointed, isn't he? Why?
Because he really thinks he's in with them now, doesn't he? He's like one of their sort of posse.
Cronies.
Cronies. And one of the funniest scenes in it is where they're in that really fucking weird... So it's all white, like in the prison, and there's blood everywhere, and there's like 2 people that have been hung in there, and it looks fucking grim. And then Wayne Gale starts popping pills in there, and he's found his wife and left her, admitted to having an affair, and then he phones his girlfriend up. So she's coming up. I'm going to come over tonight, and I'm going to put a hot pepper up your ass.
I love you, Ming.
And then she leaves him.
What?
He lost his phone.
I love you, Ming. Oh, fuck off then.
He goes, oh, fuck off, you cunt.
I'm never coming home. Don't you get it? I'm alive. For the first fucking time in my life, I'm alive. Because I don't love you anymore. I love Ming. Yeah, that's right. Ming is not a fucking restaurant. I don't care. Take the rest of the money. It's all yours anyway. And one more thing. You piss off, you cunt.
And then they have that little standoff, don't they? So they go back to the staircase and they have a little standoff, and at the top you've got Mickey and Mallory and Wayne Gale and that, and Mallory's holding Wayne Gale as a hostage. At the bottom of the stairs you've got Tommy Lee Jones, you've got Scagnetti and the rest of the prison guards, and she gets him to put Wayne Gale's hand up, don't she? And she just blows a massive hole in his hand. She's
But that shot is great because she does that, and then the hole in his hand, the camera looks through, and you can just see Tommy Lee Jones' face. But he's also still trying to be in charge. That whole thing where they've definitely got the upper hand, and he's like, 10 more seconds, and I'm coming up there. No, you're not, mate.
And then they just decide, don't they, to because they've got a prison officer as a hostage. So they decide to strap shotguns to their chests, don't they? Them and Wayne Gale. Then basically they're suggesting that they're just going to walk and breeze straight out of the front doors of the prison. That's not gonna happen.
It is.
It is. And they do, don't they? They make it, but before they do leave the prison via the front door, they close the gates behind them, don't they? Which then locks McCluskey and that in the prison with all the hordes of prisoners, inmates rushing towards him. And then it comes out that he gets his little pinches things out, doesn't he? Yeah, climbs up. It's almost like little nutcrackers. He's trying to sort of poke at their noses. And then the director's cut version has a nastier scene, isn't it? Because in the theatrical one, you just gather that they've just got hold of him. But this one's a little bit more moody, isn't it? This one.
Well, yeah, because they've put his head on a pole.
Yeah,
sort of like, using it like it's some sort of fucking flag. Well, it's like fucking something from medieval times, isn't it? Like putting something on a pig pole.
Yeah, it's almost just really barbaric, isn't it? I mean, they don't just beat him up or stab or anything like that. They just decide, we're just going to rip your fucking head off and stick it on a pole.
Again, that's the demise of Dwight McCluskey, but again, just basically doing stuff to raise his profile within the industry that he works in. So they've all just been fucked over. And the best bit is obviously they've got Wayne Gale and they kind of give him the exclusive interview that he's wanted. Don't they? They both talk to him and all that. And then they say they're going to shoot him. He's like, why? I thought we were friends. I got you out of there. And he goes, and then he sort of does a really weird run. And then fucking Woody Harrelson goes, have some dignity.
Those are good burgers, Walter. Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
It's filmed from the camera's point of view on the floor when they're shooting him, and then you just see them walk off into the sunset. And then it cuts to a load of actual news footage, and then into the end credits, and you kind of see that they've got that camper van. They've got about 4 or 5 kids, haven't they?
Yeah, because I thought that what was interesting was it was a film in which evil prevails, and they're products of the abuse that they've received as they were children. And then in that very last scene, I wondered that will history just repeat itself? Are they destined to be on this ever revolving cycle? Will the kids then end up growing up to be their parents? That was quite an ambiguous ending.
It was. I mean, there is an alternative ending where they do get killed, but it's the little guy that helps them get out.
Oh, in the prison, yeah.
It's that little prisoner guy. He in the alternative ending, he shoots them both in the van because he wants to take their fame and boost his profile.
Well, that's it, isn't it? That's that reoccurring theme, isn't it? It's like all of the characters are chasing some form of fame or status in their lives.
Status.
Let me ask you a question, Joanna. What do you think of a person who only does the bare minimum?
I fucking love the film. I think it's really good. I think it's very underrated. I think it was poorly reviewed at the time, and it's just an amazing piece of cinema, and it is a lot more comical and funny than people have said, other than me and your good self, sir.
Oh yes. Yeah, I think it's just a really entertaining movie. It entertains me with its bullshit. I love it. I think it's great. I think it does everything it says on the tin. I think it paved the way for many films of that kind of genre afterwards. I mean, as I say, especially the Tarantino formula. It's very much a Tarantino film without being directed by Tarantino. I like it when evil prevails. I think it is refreshing. It is about time that the bad guys do win. I mean, in some films, it is very, very shocking.
Yeah,
I didn't find this one to be shocking. Just that question at the end in their RV. Will the children grow up to be their parents? Raised a very interesting question. But yeah, I love it. I mean, it's a film that we quote even to this day, don't we?
Mainly Tommy Lee Jones and Wayne Gale, reporting live from Route 666.
Oh, I'm afraid the deflector shield will be quite operational when your friends arrive.
I've come up with a new little thing. It's called Can Dean Tickle Kev's Fancy? What I'm going to do is I'm going to send you a number of pictures, right? One at a time. And I just want to see your reaction to them. Here's the first one. And you can answer the question.
What song is this lady singing?
So do you want to describe the picture?
It's a middle-aged woman. Middle-aged woman who's clearly naked. You can't see anything though. We're looking up at her, which then suggests that she's on top of something. Her eyes are closed. Her mouth is wide open. She's either sort of yelling in delight. She's either yawning because she's tired, or she's in some desperate need of a chocolate eclair and she wants to scoff it down without a touch in the sides.
She's in the midst of having a rather large orgasmic evening.
A large one.
Here comes the next one.
Well, this is... He's so chuffed, isn't he? Right.
It's brilliant.
Okay, so I know we get to... So we've got Amanda Holden looking looking very nice, very nice. Blonde hair, dark eyes. She's got a very revealing top. I think that was at the top. She got into a little bit of trouble for on the old X Factor or whatever that bollocks which she's on. But she's looking very nice indeed.
Yeah.
And then And then and the question for the line is, when you think all hope is lost, ... And then on the right hand side, you've got his name's I forgot his name. What was his name?
Les Dennis.
Les Dennis. You've got Les Dennis looking all chuffed, and he's saying, "Oh, I've shagged her." But he's so fucking chuffed.
He's got this picture. He's got no hair, and his head is so round. He looks like a Mitchell brother. But he's just so chuffed. His little smile.
Looks like a football.
I'm going to send you this last one, right? This is my favourite one that I found this week, right? And it is completely genuine, all right? I'm going to send it over now.
Okay, so all right, so the line is, take a look at me now. Baby Jesus statue resembles Phil Collins. Mexican sculpture accidentally homage to singer may be the largest baby Jesus statue ever created. And then on the left, we've got the artist himself standing next to his sculpture, which is fucking massive. And on the right-hand side, we've got a picture of Phil Collins performing live. But the resemblance is so uncanny, even down to the little bit of hair in the middle and the mullet.
That's mental. I love it. I didn't realise, because I just realised, I didn't see it, but to get the perspective of how big the statue is, there's that guy.
Yeah.
He just barely reaches his knee.
Maybe he's like a massive Genesis fan or something like that. Maybe for him, Phil Collins is Jesus.
Oh, God, I got a sore throat with laughing like that.
Excuse me. I happened to be passing, and I thought you might like some coffee. Oh, that's very nice of you. Thank you. Well, won't you sit down? Thank you. Cream? No, thank you. I take it black. Like my man.
You can find us on Facebook at Culture Vultures, Twitter at PodCultureThe, and the old Instagram at PodCultureVultures, one word.
Perfecto. So, in the immortal words of Patrick Bateman, we gotta go now, because we gotta return some videotapes. Tatty bye-bye!
Goodbye!
Whoa, 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 mysterious girl, move your body close to mine.
Come on, move your body. Come on, move your body.
I stop and stare at you, walking on the shore. I try to concentrate, my mind wants to explore.
To explore.